Hello everyone, Tony here bringing you a new Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile video. I know it's been a little bit, I haven't been able to test play decks recently, but thankfully, I had a friend come by. I tested some stuff out, so hopefully this deck will be worth your time. So this is a Time Thief Phantom Knight deck, but I also use Raidraptor supporting it. It's a very combo-centric deck based on Exceed monsters. I play 14 Exceeds, 1 Link monster, and like I mentioned, Phantom Knights, Time Thieves, and Raidraptors, along with a few miscellaneous cards to kind of help the deck do what it does. So let me not stall you off too long. This is the second time I made this video. First time was way too long, so hopefully this will be to the point. So first, the most important part of the deck is Time Thief Regulator. You play 3 of these, and with this, it lets you tribute him if he's the only card you control or monster. Yeah, so if he's the only monster you control, you tribute him, special summon 2 different Time Thieves from your deck. Most of the time, you're going to go for Adjuster and Winder, or Bezel Ship and Winder, or Bezel Ship and Adjuster. It really depends on what's in your hand. But he is the cream of the crop of the deck. He will give you the start to all your nonsense, right? So you play 3 of those. As I mentioned before, you play Adjuster. I play her at 3. And the reason for that is you either want her or Winder in your hand when you do Regulator, because it gives you access to extending combos. When she's special summoned by her card effect, well, when she's normally special summoned, you can send a Time Thief spell or trap to the graveyard. If you special summon a Time Thief, if you normally special summon a Time Thief, excuse me, you can special summon her from the hand, but you can only use one or the other effect per turn. So keep that in mind when you do combo with her, and you understand why I look for one of the two, whether I have Winder or Adjuster in the hand. And then the 3 copies of the aforementioned Winder. When he's special summoned, or normal or special summoned, you can add a Time Thief spell or trap from your deck to your hand. And with that, you can continue to extend plays. If you control an Exceed monster, you can detach one to special summon it from your hand. So the only thing to keep in mind is to try and hope to have one or the other when you start doing your large combos. You don't want Bezel Ship in your hand. That's why I only play him and Chrono Chord at 1. Chrono Chord might be replaceable with the second Bezel Ship. I'm still kind of testing it. Bezel Ship, while it's in the graveyard, you could detach from a monster, an Exceed monster in field, and special summon him once. So more extensions with that. So that's all the Time Thief monsters. Now we're going to get into the Phantom Thief stuff. So I do play 3 Torn Scales. I play 2 Silent Boots, 2 Greaves. Yeah, 2 Stained Greaves, and 1 Ancient Cloak. You're probably never going to really summon this unless you have Silent Boots. Torn Scales special summons himself from the graveyard when a card is banished, and being that you're playing a lot of cards that remove himself from the graveyard, he'll get himself out a lot. Stained Greaves actually has a nice little niche in here because when you special summon a Phantom Knight monster, you can special summon him and he becomes a level 4, which lets you go into more other Exceeds. More of your other Exceeds anyway, because you do play a lot of rank 4s. And when he's in the graveyard, you can remove him, special summon a Phantom Knight from your deck. I mean, from your hand. Oh my god. From your hand, and it'll become a level 4 as well. So most of the cards in your extra deck, especially the Exceeds, are rank 4s. So yeah, like, their engine is specifically to help aid the Time Thieves here. For the Raidraptor stuff, right now I'm playing 1 Raider's Wing, 2 Miscellaneous, and 2 Miscellaneous. You could probably drop this to 1 and just play 3 of these, because they don't, like, when you use these effects to special summon themselves, they restrict you to dark monsters only being able to special summon. So a lot of the times, because of that, you kind of get held back in the sense that you can't special summon your Link monster. Other than that, they're really good extensions to this deck, but this card doesn't have that drawback. All you have to do is control an Exceed monster. Once per turn, you can just special summon it, so that's why there's that too. I'm probably going to drop this and play this at 3. But yeah, these in their own right are extenders. If you control if you control an Exceed monster, you can special summon him, and then if you control a dark Exceed monster with a dark Exceed material, you can target 1 level 4 or lower Raidraptor monster in the graveyard and special summon it. So he helps extend the thing further. But you want to make sure that when you do use him, it's after you've got your setup. So keep him in mind for that. Raider's Wing, you can special summon it by detaching a material from an Exceed monster you control, but then after that, you're restricted to only dark monsters. And when he special summoned that way, he gets removed from play. For the Miscellaneous monster, I'm playing one Danger Mothman, one Dinotherium, and then one Psychic Tracker. You can play Tracker or Velator. I'm probably going to switch to Velator because I do have Ultra Rare ones. But Dinotherium is a free extender at the cost of letting your opponent special summon a level 4 or lower monster, and being that you go through your deck a lot, they're going to have a lot of choices to choose from, but it's still a free special summon, free extender. Mothman, if they don't discard this with his own effect, it's, you know, free placement, you draw a card. So Tracker is literally only here to get you into Leviair or Breaksword, I think it's called, the rank 3 Phantom Knights card. For the spells and traps, I'm playing one Foolish Burial, this an extender, you can start your plays. There was a game where I had to like use this Monster Reborn regulator, and then it just still let me play my deck the way I wanted to. One Aurora Darkness, you can use this in combo with Torrent Scales. Gives you free filter, gives you a Leviair target, but it's not essential. Like, you don't absolutely need to play this. This is possibly replaceable if you want to. I just like that one. One Rank Up Magic Soul Save Force. This gives you access to Cyber Dragon Infinity. So, at the cost of half your life points. But it's still really good. And Strix hits the graveyard really easy. That's the rank 4 Exceed. I'll get into that later. Phantom Knight's Rank Up Magic. This is one of the only ways you can hit one of your boss monsters that I'll show you later. This lets you bring out some pretty good stuff too, as well. Like I'll show you later, but this is for access to another one of your finishers. Reinforce it in the army because all the Phantom Knights are warriors. Monster Reborn because extending your turns is great. 2 Time Thief startups. If you wind up drawing this, you can actually use this to play your regulator and then keep your normal summon. Most of the time, you really just want it for your graveyard effect. And the graveyard effect is you can banish it, target one of your Time Thief Exceed monsters, and attach from your graveyard one spell, one trap, one monster. So you'll be able to get all 3 of your effects that way. So that's all the spell cards I play. Excuse my dog barking in the background. Something excited him. For trap cards, playing 2 Fog Blades because telling your opponent they can't do stuff is fun. You can banish from graveyard, special summon a Time Thief from your graveyard, I believe. Yes. 1 Shade Brigandini. I don't know how to pronounce that word. 1 shield. And this is an extender. It lets you go into a rank 4 Exceed. So it's a pretty essential card. Very great target for Silent Boots to search for. And then we play 1 Retrograde and 1 Flyback. Flyback, most of the time I use this to counterplay my opponent's plays. So if you go first and you send this to the graveyard, when your opponent is doing their thing, a lot of times they target the graveyard to extend their plays. You can fly back their target and just attach it to one of your Time Thief Exceeds. And then Retrograde, when your opponent activates a spell or trap, you negate it and then attach it to your monster. So it's a really good way to start. I might want to play 2 of these because of how good it is, but then you can only play 1 per turn. So it's like at 1 it feels fine. So now into the extra deck. So the only Link monster you play is Infinite Track Fortress Megaclops, and the reason for that is if your opponent's not playing Exceed monsters, unless they're playing like a random Dark Hole, this thing is like nearly unkillable. Can't be destroyed by battle with anything that's not an Exceed monster. Can't be destroyed by a monster effect that's a non-Exceed egg monster. It's fairly easy to get him out. So I'll go through the Exceed monsters and then tell you what some of the stuff I do. So I do play, hold on, because this is a little out of order. For my rank 3s, Leviair, this is an extender. That's really all he's here for. He doesn't serve no real purpose outside of extension. 1 Breaksword. A lot of times I'll use him to destroy himself, blow up one of your opponent's cards, and you special summon the 2 Phantom Knights, and then you start your turn by, you start your real turn by going into Strix, and then Strix extends your plays from there. Speaking of Strix, we're playing 2 Raidraptor Strixes. You can detach a material from him and then search your deck for a Raidraptor. The great thing about this is that he's not restricted to a once per turn effect. like a hard once per turn anyway. So you use him, detach, summon the Miscellaneous, bring out another monster, go into a second Strix, and then you kind of like continue your turn like that. So you do have the 3 Exceed materials for um, Mega Clops. And now we play my personal favorite card in the deck, 2x3 for Doers. This card is such a good control card. I was excited when I saw that they got a new Exceed with Double Barrel, but Double Barrel holds nothing to this guy. Depending on what materials you detach when you use this effect, which is a quick effect, monsters, you remove them from play until the end of the turn. So if you see something happening you don't like, get them the hell out of there. Spell cards, you draw a card. Trap cards, you target one card on your opponent's side of the field and bounce it to the top of their deck. It has to be faced up though. I want to like clarify that. But this is a really good source of control. If your opponent summons a Verde Anaconda, you can bounce them back into their extra deck and you prevent the Dragoon. So he's pretty dope. We're playing 2 Raiders Knights. Initially I was playing this at 1, but I like 2 because it lets you level up into Arc Rebellion, or it lets you level down to Break Sword. So he has a really good place there. The only downside is that the monster you Exceed summon with his skill dies at the end of the turn. So most of the time if you go into him, like he's gonna die anyway, so you'll go into him, blow up something, and then like just continue your turn that way. But Raiders Knight has like a nice little role in here in extending your plays. Back to the Time Thief stuff, we're playing 1 Perpetua and 1 Double Barrel. They both kind of feel like they don't probably need to be here, especially him, but I put them in there because they're Time Thieves. She does support Redoer and letting him have access to all his abilities, and same thing with Double Barrel. Double Barrel, maybe I'll like force myself to use him more and find more uses for him. The art is great, but like I just don't see his priority over Redoer, pretty much. Back to Raiders Knight, we play 1 Arc Rebellion Exceed Dragon. This guy turns off all your opponent's cards effects. He doesn't target, so he should be able to turn off Dragoon. However, you would have to bait that Dragoon negation. He gets a huge attack boost, but being that the only way you're really going to bring him out is with Raiders Knight, he'll die at the end of that turn, so you have to make the most of it. This guy's awesome, though, because you can avoid that Raiders Knight destruction by going into Zeus. I know this card is really expensive right now, and I normally don't put him in my deck profile videos for that reason. I'm lucky enough to have 3. I picked one up really early when it was like a $35 card, and I pulled 2 of them. Well, my dad pulled 2 of them. But yeah, so Zeus is awesome in this deck because a lot of the times where the card serves its purpose or probably won't survive due to like inherent effects, Zeus comes out and completely makes those cards useful, and now your opponent's on the clock to try and destroy this thing because his presence is just that big. As for my rank up cards, so the Shave Magic goes for Cyber Dragon Infinity. This is a form of control. You're really just trying to turn your opponent's cards off. He could steal cards from your opponent's side of the field to make materials. He's a really annoying card to deal with. And then the other card is like an alt win con for me, which is Odd Eyes Rebellion Dragon. So after you bring out the Exceed Dragon, you can rank up him to bring out Rebellion Dragon. And what this does is when he's Exceed summoned, you can take cards from your opponent's side of the field that are level 7 or less and just blow them up. And for each one, they take 1,000 damage. Then, if they like live that during that battle phase that you use this effect, he can attack 3 times. So he's a 3,000 body, blowing up your opponent's monsters, and then can still do 9,000 damage on his own if your opponent doesn't have any monsters. So I'm gonna go through combos real quick because I don't want this video to be too long, and kind of show you how I normally set up for Mega Clops. Granted, like again, like these cards just kind of need to be in your hand if you're lucky. So in this case, we're gonna go with the Regulator. We can go, well, Regulator is the most important thing realistically, because when you Regulator, you tribute him, and then you bring out Bezel is like always the one I kind of go for. And then let's say you bring out Adjuster, and because Adjuster was special summon, you can send a Time Thief monster, Spell Trap, excuse me, from your deck to the graveyard. So let's say you send Flyback back. Or if you have a way to search this out, you would not bring her out. You would bring out Winder and search the counter trap, right? Yeah, if you have this in your hand, you would not bring her out. You would bring out Winder to search. But yeah, so you do this. You link. Oh, let me put the retrograde back here. Not the retrograde, the flyback back here. You exceed, excuse me. You attach bezel ship. You search for Miscellaneous. Special summon it. Then you would detach this. You special summon bezel. You exceed into a second one. Then you detach this. Then you would search for the other. You can search for Raider's Wing, but then you're restricted to dark monsters for the rest of the turn. Wait, hold on. Actually, I don't think. Yeah, he actually doesn't have that restriction, so that's really good. It's only the Miscellaneous that has that, right? So at this point, if you have any other way to bring out like another level 4, which there's plenty of in here, you would just go into like, let's say, Time Thief Redoer by detaching this, special summoning this. Let's just say you had a Dinotherium in your hand, right? Or let's just say, yeah, let's say you had the Dinotherium in your hand. So you go into Dinotherium, right? Now your opponent takes one of your monsters. Let's say they just took that for whatever reason. You overlay, you go into Redoer. And from Redoer, you actually just link these three. And go into Megaclops. And with Megaclops, you bring back the Redoer. And then with Megaclops' skill, whatever he brings back, gets the attach from your opponent's side of the field. So even if they get something off of Dinotherium, you're still going to wind up like leaving them with no board, like if you go first. This deck is very susceptible to Nibiru, sadly, but a lot of this deck is just like a fun way of like just going into like a bunch of different exceeds. It's like you're not really restricted into doing one thing, which is what I appreciate about this deck. There's like a lot of freedom. So with that in mind, that's pretty much like the deck. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a comment below, leave a like, subscribe if you like what you saw. I will be doing more content soon. I have a few other decks that I'm just tinkering with. I want to get everything right. But I want to thank Wayne for coming and testing this deck for me. Jeremiah just moved, so I'm still trying to figure out a way for me to do his profile video for Dark Magician. I know somebody did ask for it recently, so sorry that that's been on the back burner. But thank you for watching my video, and I'll see you next time.